So hello friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel Chembasis. So this is the second lecture on conformational analysis. In the first lecture, I have discussed about what is called basically conformational analysis and how to draw the Newman projection formula to do the conformational analysis. Because to do the conformational analysis, you need to know the Newman projection formula very well. So in my first lecture, I have given you a very brief introduction about how to draw the Newman projection formula for different compounds. Now in the second lecture, I will talk about how to do the conformational analysis of different types of compounds like ethane, butane, etc. So let's start the video. Now as you can see that this is the staggered conformation of ethane molecule, and this is the eclipsed conformation of ethane molecule. So you can see that in the staggered conformation, the dihedral angle between these two hydrogen atoms is 180 degree. On the other hand, in case of eclipsed conformation, the dihedral angle between these two hydrogen is 0 degree. So these two conformations, that is staggered conformation and eclipsed conformation, these two conformations are the most important conformation that you will encounter while doing the conformational analysis. Now the question is, why staggered conformation is much more stable compared to eclipsed conformation? Now you can see that in case of staggered conformation, the distance between these hydrogen atom or these hydrogen atom is maximum. They are separated with quite a distance, as you can see here. But in case of eclipsed conformation, as you can see that the distance between these two hydrogens or these two hydrogen or these two hydrogens are very small. So due to the very small distance between these two hydrogen atoms, there will be electronic repulsion between these two hydrogen atoms. So you know that there is some electron cloud that is surrounding these hydrogen atoms. So as these two hydrogen atoms are very close to each other in case of eclipsed conformation, so that's why they are basically repelled. So these types of force are called repulsion London force. Okay. Now this is basically a potential energy diagram for ethane molecule. So that is the simplest of the conformational analysis that I am going to talk right now. So you can see that in the y-axis, this is the potential energy, and in the x-axis the rotation is being shown here. Okay, so you can see that the staggered conformation of ethane is the most stable one, where the potential energy is lowest one. On the other hand, you can see that the eclipsed conformation is having 12 kilojoule per mole greater energy than the staggered conformation. So in my previous slide, I have already talked that staggered conformation is energetically much more stable due to the less London repulsion force that is basically acting in case of eclipsed conformation, where the repulsive force between these two hydrogen atom is very high, but in case of staggered conformation, this types of repulsion force is not there. So that's why this staggered conformation is much more stable compared to eclipsed conformation. And as you can see that whatever the barrier that you are seeing here, that is the barrier having the energy of 12 kilojoule per mole, is called basically torsional barrier. Okay, so basically when these types of molecule can easily surpass this barrier, and it can easily goes from staggered to eclipsed to again staggered conformation, because this barrier is very insignificant. You can see that this energy barrier is very low, only 12 kilojoule per mole, and this energy can be easily achieved while the molecules of ethane collide with each other. So they can easily achieve this much of energy, so they can easily surpass this barrier, and the rotation is very freely, it can freely rotate to get different types of conformation at room temperature. But if you go to very extremely low temperature, that is below minus 250 degrees centigrade, in that case you can freeze the ethane molecule into one of the conformation. But in normal room temperature, the energy of the collision is sufficient to surpass this energy barrier to go from staggered to eclipse to again staggered conformation. Okay, so that is exactly what is written here. The collisional energy between the ethane molecule is sufficient to cross the torsional barrier at normal room temperature. But at some certain instant, if you take a snapshot at some certain time, you will see that most of the molecule is having staggered conformation, because obviously staggered conformation is having lower potential energy. So that's why most of the molecule, or you can say almost 99% of the ethane molecule reside in staggered conformation. And so as it is the most stable conformation of ethane molecule, but it is not that eclipsed conformation cannot exist, because as the energy barrier is very low, so obviously you will also see some eclipsed conformation, but the percentage of the eclipsed conformation present at some certain time is much more lesser compared to the staggered conformation. Now I will go to discuss about the conformational analysis of little complicated molecule, that is butane. So you can see that here I will talk about the conformational analysis due to the rotation about this C2C3 bond. Okay, so one thing that I am just focusing is that the rotational barrier in case of the butane for along the C2C3 bond is larger than the rotational barrier about the CC bond that is shown in ethane. So you can see that the rotational barrier in ethane molecule is 12 kilojoule per mole, but in this case we will see that the rotational barrier along C2C3 bond in butane is larger than 12 kilojoule. And why it is that we have to understood it from the conformational analysis of this butane molecule. So this barrier of rotation I have told you is called basically torsional strain or steric hindrance. So this barrier is coming due to the basically steric hindrance, that is the repulsion between the hydrogen atom. Okay, so you can see that these are the 6 important conformer that you are seeing while there is a rotation along the C2C3 bond in case of butane. So you can see that this is called the anti-conformer. So you can see this is the most stable conformer. In the conformational analysis part I will show you in the next slide. So this is the anti-conformer where the 2 methyl groups are at the anti position or opposite position, and these are called basically eclipsed conformer, because the phi angle, or you can see this phi angle is 0 degree. So they are these hydrogen and methyl groups are very close to each other, so that's why they are called eclipsed conformer. These 2 conformers are called Gauch conformer, because these 2 methyl groups are very close to each other, so that's why they are called Gauch conformer. Okay, now this is the potential energy diagram for butane molecule while rotation around the C2C3 bond. So you can see that this anti-conformer is the lowest one, because you can see that in case of this anti-conformation it has staggered conformation. So all these atoms are at a maximum distance from each other as possible. So that's why they are the stable one. They have almost 0 torsional strain or steric strain. So that's why they are the most stable conformer. Okay. On the other hand, you can see that this is the Gauch conformer. You can see that this Gauch conformer is also having staggered conformation, but still it is 3.8 kilojoule per mole greater energy than this anti-conformer. This is because there is some kinds of steric repulsion between these 2 methyl groups. So the hydrogen atom of these two methyl groups came very close to each other, and there will be a London repulsion force between these hydrogen atoms, or we can say between these two methyl groups. So that's why they are having slightly higher energy compared to the anti-conformation. Again, you can see now in case of the eclipsed conformation, there are basically two equivalent eclipsed conformer. They are having 16 kilojoule per mole higher energy. Now you can see that why in case of ethane molecule, we have seen that this energy barrier is 12 kilojoule, while in case of this butane molecule, this energy barrier is 16 kilojoule. This is because in case of ethane molecule, the repulsion was in between two hydrogen atom. In case of if you draw the Newman projection for so this is the eclipsed conformation of ethane molecule, as you can see. Now in case of this ethane molecule, the eclipsed conformer of this ethane molecule, there is a repulsion between these two hydrogen atom. So they are 12 kilojoule per mole higher energy than the staggered conformer. But in case of this butane, the repulsion is between this hydrogen atom and this methyl. Methyl is much more bulkier than hydrogen atom. So that's why the steric repulsion that will be occurring in between this hydrogen and methyl will be much higher than what is seen in case of the eclipsed conformation of ethane. So that's why this energy barrier is larger, that is so 16 kilojoule per mole. On the other hand, if you see this eclipsed conformation, in this case the energy barrier is higher than 16 kilojoule, that is 19 kilojoule per mole, because in this case the steric repulsion occurred in between two methyl group. So the phi angle, the dihedral angle between these two methyl group is 0 degrees. So they are eclipsed with each other. So that's why there will be much more steric repulsion between these two methyl group. So that's why this eclipsed conformer will have the highest energy, that is 19 kilojoule per mole higher than the what is seen in case of anti-conformer. Okay, so this is the conformational analysis for butane molecule. So you can see anti-conformation do not have any torsional strain, that I have told you that in case of anti-conformation, as all the groups or atoms are far distance away from each other, so they do not have any torsional strain, while the gauge conformer have some repulsive torsional strain. So that's why they are having 3.8 kilojoule per mole greater energy than the anti-conformer, and this eclipsed conformer are having huge repulsion force between the eclipsed methyl groups and hydrogen atom. Okay, on the other hand, this eclipsed conformer is having more higher energy because there will be a steric repulsion between two methyl groups. Okay, now previously you know that basically London force, you have an idea that London force is generally attractive. So due to the London force basically mostly occur in between the non-polar molecules, and they are basically attractive. But in this case I have talked about the London repulsive force. So what exactly is this London repulsive force, that I am going to show you, or I am going to explain you in this slide. So you can see this is A is basically some kinds of a non-polar molecule, and at a given instance it has some symmetrical electron distribution around it. So it is basically a non-polar molecule, but due to at a certain instance of time, this electron cloud is not a static electron clouds, it always move around. So it always move. So that's why at some certain point of time some electron density will be less at this position, and more electron will be accumulated at this position at some certain instance of time, and this time period is very low. So at that certain instance of time, due to the asymmetrical electron distribution, the molecule will have some dipole moment. So there is some partial positive charge will be created, and there will be a partial negative charge will be created temporarily, because the electron is always moving, and at some certain instance there may be a possibility that this portion is a small amount of electron is accumulated, and in this portion on the right side large electron is accumulated. Now suppose there is one symmetrical one molecule, again another non-polar molecule that is around this molecule, and it has symmetrical electron distribution, but as there is a temporary dipole is created in this molecule, this temporary dipole will induce dipole to this molecule, because as it is there is a partial negative charge, so the electrons will be repelled from this position and more electron will goes towards this position. So there will be a partial positive charge and partial negative charge created on this molecule that is around this A molecule. So this is basically called a induced dipole. So this types of induced dipole will be created in this molecule, and this molecule again will induce dipole. This molecule will again create induced dipole around it. Okay, so you can see, and they will attract each other. So these types of forces are called the London attractive force. Okay, these are called London attractive force, and this London attractive force is basically dependent upon the distance between these two molecules. So you can see this is an energy diagram, this is the potential energy, and this is the distance between the two molecules. So as the distance between the two molecules, as you can see, decreases or diminishes, the London force between these two molecules increases. So that's why the potential energy is of the system is also decreases. Now there is at some certain distance, you can see the internuclear distance between these two molecules become very low, and the dipole interaction or the London force between this two molecule will reach a maximum value. Okay, if we still try to make these two molecules closer to each other, then what happened that the electron cloud surrounding these two molecules will start to penetrate into one another. So you can see that if you again still starts to squeeze these two molecules, then what happened that the electron clouds of these two molecules will penetrate into each other, and in that moment there will be huge electronic repulsion that will be created, and the potential energy of the system will be increases rapidly. So that force, that is the huge electronic repulsion force that is occurred due to the very close packing of the molecule, or the presence of these two molecules very close to each other, is called London repulsive force. That is exactly what happened in case of this types of eclipsed conformation, where when the two methyl groups are very close to each other, then what happened that they are very close to each other, so the electron cloud around this two methyl group will penetrate into one another because they are very close to each other. So in that case there will be a London repulsive force instead of London attraction force. So that's why these eclipsed conformer are having high potential energy that is reflected in this potential energy diagram. Okay, now here I am giving you a very brief introduction about what is called stereoisomer and what is called conformational stereoisomer. Okay, so basically I know that I assume that you have some idea about the stereoisomers. Stereoisomer have the same molecular formula and connectivity, but different arrangement of atom in three-dimensional space. So here I am giving you an example of a stereoisomer. As you can see, that is trans 1,2-dichloroethane and cis 1,2-dichloroethane. Both are having the molecular formula of both are having a molecular formula of C2 Cl2H2. So the molecular formula is same for both molecules, and the bond connectivity is also same. So the carbon is connected to chlorine, here carbon is also connected to chlorine, but the main difference between these two molecules is the arrangement of the atoms in the space in the 3 dimension. So you can see that the arrangement of the chlorine atom in 3 dimension is different in case of trans and in case of cis, and that's why they are called stereoisomer. But one thing that here is, so as you can see in case of conformational isomer, also the arrangement of the chlorine atom in 3 dimensional space is different in case of this trans and in case of this cis form. But the major difference between conformational isomer and stereoisomer is that this trans 1,2-dichloroethane cannot be easily converted into cis 1,2-dichloroethane. There is a huge energy barrier between trans 1,2-dichloroethane and cis 1,2-dichloroethane, because if trans form has to convert into cis form, then there is needed of this CC double bond breakage. So without this CC double bond cleavage, trans isomer cannot be converted into cis isomer. On the other hand, you can see this conformational form can be easily converted into this by simply the CC sigma bond rotation. So by rotating this CC sigma bond, this form can be easily, this conformer can be easily converted into this conformer. So that's why they are called conformational isomers. So the major difference between conformational isomer and stereoisomer is that the stereoisomers cannot be easily converted into one another. So the energy barrier between one stereoisomer and another stereoisomer is very high. And on the other hand, in case of conformational isomer, one conformer can be easily interconverted into one another. The energy barrier between these two conformational isomer will be much more lower compared to what is seen in case of stereoisomer. So that is the basic difference between the stereoisomer and conformational stereoisomer. So that's it from this lecture, and I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you do have any question regarding this lecture, you can ask me through the comment section. And thank you very much for your kind attention. I will see you again soon in my next lecture. So till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.